It has taken 29 games and 7.5 months, but Pep Guardiola's Manchester City finally tasted defeat on a freezing night in Ukraine. City's imperious run at home and abroad came to an abrupt halt here in the Metalist Stadium at the hands of Shakhtar Donetsk and a Brazilian contingent who ripped them to shreds in the first half. A first defeat since losing the FA Cup semi-final to Arsenal on April the 23rd was not a total surprise in what was a dead rubber for City. Guardiola, facing a very capable Shakhtar side still fighting for the Champions League lives, rested players to avoid unnecessary injuries ahead of the Manchester derby at Old Trafford on Sunday. But the manner of it will concern the City boss, who will not have enjoyed seeing his team so comprehensively outplayed. So too will the fact that it follows 3 unconvincing Premier League wins over Huddersfield, Southampton and West Ham. Guardiola stood solemnly on the touchline, his breath visible in the cold night air as he screamed instructions, but to little avail. City were 2 down by half-time and well on the way to a rare defeat after winning 21 of their 22 games this season. Sergio Aguero's late penalty mattered little.By. Doing so, they failed to become only the 6th club in Champions League history to finish the group stage with a 100% record. Instead, he will wait to see how his players absorb this setback, albeit in slightly mitigated circumstances. "I assure you that sooner or later we'll lose," he said on the eve of this game. "We'll recover the next day and sleep well, and then we'll try to win again." City's 100% record after 5 games in this competition ensured they had already reached the knockout stage as winners of Group F before a ball had been kicked here in Kharkiv, allowing Guardiola to make changes before that trip to Old Trafford. Phil Foden, of whom so much is expected in the future, was handed his full debut at left wing-back, and Tosin Adarabioyo made his second Champions League start alongside Fernandinho and Eliaquim Mangala in an unfamiliar 3-man defence. At 17 years and 191 days, Foden became the youngest player to start a Champions League game for an English club since Cesc Fabregas for Arsenal in 2004. Shakhtar, on the other hand, still had much to play for and needed a point to be sure of qualifying in second place ahead of Napoli. The club's record at home to English clubs certainly suggested that was possible against a weakened City side, even though Shakhtar are playing 150 miles from home due to the conflict in Donetsk. They came into this game unbeaten in 6 games against Premier League teams, having won 4 of them and drawn 2. The Brazilian trio of Bernard, Marlos, and Taison bring creative flair to the Ukrainian champions, and they set the early pace which resulted in the home team taking a 26th minute lead. Bernard had already tormented Adarabioyo early on when he broke down the left and tempted the young defender into a wild swing at thin air. The ball was slipped to Facundo Ferreira, and it needed a crucial block by Fernandinho to keep out the Argentine's effort with Ederson stranded. Taison's surging run away from Yaya Toure spanning half the length of the field then ended with Marlo's effort comfortably dealt with by the City keeper, but he had no chance with the next attempt. Ederson rushed out to block from the same player moments later after Taison had created another chance, but he was guilty of the error that handed Shakhtar a second goal in the 32nd minute. Ismaili was first to the ball, took it round the 24-year-old and slotted it into an empty net. City were rocking. Shakhtar keeper Andrei Pyatov came out to claim the ball and sent Gabriel Jesus sprawling after he had been put through by Foden, but that was City's only real chance of the first half, and it ended with Taison wriggling through to swing another shot inches over the bar. The second half was lacking in incident by comparison. City were improved, and Fernandinho placed a free header wide before making way for Sergio Aguero, while Jesus clipped the outside of the post after great work by young substitute Brahim Diaz. Guardiola's side did manage to pull a goal back in added time when Jesus was tripped in the box and Aguero converted from the penalty spot. Shakhtar won and both clubs advanced to the knockout stage in February, when Guardiola's approach and lineup will be altogether different.